To do this project, it's first important to understand what a negative shape is. What is on this paper? If you said there's a heart on this paper, you are incorrect. There is no heart on this paper. I cut a heart out of the paper, but there is no heart on the paper. The concept here is a negative shape. A negative shape is a shape that is made when there is a hole or when there's nothing there. Positive shape, negative shape. Positive shape, negative shape. Positive shape, negative shape. Positive shape. In this project, we're going to use the concept of negative shapes to make a symmetrical design. When something is symmetrical, you could put a line straight down the middle. And if you folded it, one side would match up with the other side. When both sides don't match up, we call it asymmetrical. We're going to make symmetrical designs today. First, I'm going to start with 2 pieces of paper. Pick any colors you want. Now, the first piece of paper I am going to fold in half. Match up the corners. It is pretty important that you do it correctly. Do it so it is exactly as close as exactly as you can to in half, because you're going to need it pretty much exact. Put a good crease in it and then cut your paper in half. You're only going to need half of one of the sheets of paper for this project. Fold the other piece of paper in half too. Match up the corners so you get it as close to exactly in half as you can. And make a good crease. Now when I place my half sheet of paper on my full sheet of paper on one of the halves, I get a symmetrical piece of paper. It's not symmetrical in color, it's symmetrical in shape. There is a rectangle on the left and a rectangle on the right. Now I'm going to take the little piece of paper and I'm going to cut into the side of it. I'm going to make a shape. It doesn't really matter what kind of shape you make, but you are going to use the whole piece of paper in this project, so I don't want any scraps, extra scraps. I'm going to cut whatever I feel like until I come back out on the same side I started on. Now I can put this paper back on like it was before, so it is once again symmetrical. Now I'm going to take the paper that I cut out of the one side of the blue and I'm going to flip, and you see that it is once again symmetrical. It is symmetrical in shape but not in color. The negative orange shape is equal to the positive blue shape. Now I'm going to glue the piece that I started with down to the paper using a glue stick. Again, this will be symmetrical in shape but not color. I'm going to take the piece of paper that I cut out and I'm going to cut out another shape out of it. It doesn't really matter what I do, just making sure that I come out of my cut. I come out on the same side of the paper that I started on the longer side. So I'm going to put these 2 pieces of paper down like they were before, so it's symmetrical with the large orange shape. And then flip, and it's symmetrical again. Look how my positive blue shapes match up to my negative orange shapes to make it symmetrical in shape, but not in color. Now I'm going to glue the blue positive shape I cut my new shape from down to the orange piece of paper. Now I'm going to repeat this process again. I'm going to take my piece of paper, cut a shape out of it, and then I'm going to put my paper down and flip. It is symmetrical again with my positive shapes matching up to my negative shapes. Positive blue shapes, negative orange shapes. And symmetrical by shape, but not by color. And then once again, I'm going to glue down my positive blue shape that I cut my new shape out of onto the orange paper. I'm going to repeat this process of cutting a shape out of the piece of paper and then flipping it to make the design symmetrical over and over again, with the positive blue shapes matching up to the negative orange shapes. I'm going to do it until my paper is too small to do it again, almost. When I'm done, I will have a symmetrical design. The shapes on the left of the paper will be the same as the shapes on the right of the paper. And I've done it by using positive and negative shapes.